Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon at the top of the hour. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Cliff Guerin. I am a career advisor here at the WGU Career and Professional Development Center.
And I'm Dorothy Baumgartner, and I work alongside Cliff in career and professional development. Welcome so much. We're so glad you're here to join us today.
All right. So let's go right into our presentation, and I'd like to share my screen as always. And again, welcome you all to the Get to Know the Career and Professional Development website and resources. This is kind of an overview, showcase of who we are and what we do. And just a brief note, if you're joining us, you've already gone through the showcase before with our services and our resources and website a little bit. There are going to be some things that you've heard before, things you've gone and seen at any of the other presentations, but we have a few additional pieces of information, a little bit of a new look on some of our sites, and we wanted to share those with you as well. If you're first joining us for the first time, again, we want to welcome you and let you know that this obviously is being recorded and everyone will get a copy of this after the presentation. So a little bit of context and a roadmap of what we'll be sharing with you today. First of all, we're going to look at a little bit of alumni success with career services, employer satisfaction. We hope that this will give really a full view of both from our learners' perspective and what employers have been seeing of folks coming from WGU as graduates and workers in the workforce. We're going to look at some research-based career frameworks. We like to include this to say, where do you guys get this information? What is it like to be a career advisor? What happens in your office? Where does your knowledge come from, so to speak? So we're going to be talking about that and showing you some examples. We'll talk a little bit about who we are as advisors here at CPD. We'll talk a little bit about what we offer, obviously, some of the resources, and really do a little more of a deeper dive into some of our featured places in our office for your learners to know. And that will cover various resources and tools that all of our students and alumni and graduates will have to their disposal as they're going through our site. Then we'll be able to talk a little bit about how you can get involved on an ongoing basis here at CPD, and we'll have some time to answer some questions that you may have and be able to maybe go a little deeper into your own specific needs for your students. So as we look at the 2022 Gallup Alumni Survey, and it's a long survey, actually, and this is part that we pulled out from that. We wanted to share the well-being of what has been surveyed from our graduates and our students. So if you look at what the comparison is with our own graduates to the national averages, you'll see that the life evaluation of them is higher, 76% versus 51% of the natural graduates. But look at the career well-being, 54 as the score above the 43 of national graduates that were polled. And then, of course, that's always connected somehow into the financial well-being. And again, we're kind of winning the race, if you will, with 48 over 30. So this tells the story of really the well-being of our graduates as they are, going through our program. Well, when we flip the coin and we look at the employer side, we can see how do employers rate the preparedness and success on the job. We'll see that 97% employers say that the graduates they have or they've hired are well prepared for their jobs, 97%. Employees have also said that they would hire another WGU grad. 95% have responded to that question. And then 99% of employers say that the graduates coming from WGU meet or exceed their expectations. And this comes from the Harris poll that was conducted from the WGU 2022 annual report that's there for our WGU graduates. Now, when we're looking at the behind the scenes mechanics, if you will, when it comes to the theories, career theories behind what we do, we get this from the National Association of Colleges and Employers. That's like our mothership, if you will. So most career centers in universities and colleges around the country belong to NACE. NACE is where we all get our code of ethics, our ongoing education, licensure, if you will, certifications, both regional and national, meetings and different websites and different events that we can attend, national conferences where employers and career centers from around the country can come and learn best practices, current trends, such as the latest, how does artificial intelligence now impact the workforce? What's happening in the tech world as far as restructuring some of their, hiring practices, things like that. What does business look like today? Healthcare, as we are growing and our populations are not retiring or, and they're aging and still working. So lots of these trends and things that are discussed and explored through NACE is where we get some of that background. And we really want to be able to equip our learners and our graduates with these competencies, the ability to think critically, use professional communication skills, professionalism in the workplace, career and self-development for that ongoing career development after they get a job, being equal and inclusive of their teams that they work with. These, as I said, are those mechanics behind that career conversations. It's what empowers us and drives us as we meet with students when they ask questions, what can I do with my degree? Or I have no experience, what's my next step? This is what's happening in the background as we prepare them for the world of work. Now, real quickly, I wanted to cover a little bit about more of that background and actually how this can intersect and pertain to the personal learning guide, or the PLG, that all faculty and mentors have access to as they're going through that student's personal learning guide. They have incorporated a career readiness component. I hope that you've all been able to see that. This is how we bring it all together. So with these 8 career milestones, students may be in that first component at the top, that number 1, career exploration and pathways. What can I do and where do I go and how do I get there when it comes to their career preparedness? What are my goals and how can I set that up so it creates a pathway and a map to get to my ultimate career destination? So are they clear? As the PLG will have a section on goal clarity. Do they have what it takes, the skill sets? If they're a career changer, what are the gaps that may be barriers to keep them from going into that next career step that they're pursuing their degree for? So career skills are explored. How to fill those gaps are also explored. Then let's plan it out. It's nice to have that goal and understand what you want to do. Now let's plan it out to see what it looks like and how to get there. Do you have what it takes to apply to the job? Your resume, cover letter. How do you look online? Your LinkedIn profile. Are you using Handshake to its optimal capability? We can help you do that. So we can help students get the materials they need to prepare for those career assets and a professional portfolio to present to employees during interviews. And making those connections. It's what I call the great American know-who. So it's networking, not networking through LinkedIn, but also networking face to face. If they had those opportunities to go to mixers, to go to job fairs, expos, things like that. So those connections for learning and career advancement is all part of the career planning phase with these milestones. And then stay sharp, stay prepared. Experiential learning are internships, externships that are there. And once you get a job, that doesn't mean that your learning stops. It often means your learning takes that next level and continues. So lifelong learning and that career planning happens all the time. It's an organic process that we all go through. Now, carrying on with kind of that image of the roadmap, if you will, and how to get to that ongoing process, there is a site page that we have that we like to share with you, and it's questions to ask learners on their journey. So it's really a quick conversation guide and starter for these career milestones. And this is just a visualization of kind of what it looks like. Again, touching base on those milestones from 1 to 8, going from exploration to lifelong learning. I'd like to open up a page to show you a little bit more detail that you'll
Cliff,
see.
Cliff,
Yes.
sorry, I want to just jump on. I did pop that link in the chat for all of you. So if you want to open that page up and bookmark it, this is a great resource.
Great idea. Yes, please do that. And so as you're doing that or while you're doing it, I would bring your attention to scroll down a little bit on the page. You'll see again that color wheel. This is in shades of blue that we have. We'll cover those same steps 1 through 8. Then underneath that, you'll see the tiles that correspond to those areas. And let's click on one to see what it looks like. So if we click on career planning, number 4 milestone, it takes you to a deeper exploration of that particular milestone and planning. It will also take you to areas back to our website for career services that will take you to the career planning resources that are here. So that is just one really great way to look at those resources for students and to point them in that right direction. Now let's get a little personal. Let's talk a little about, who are we as advisors here at the Career and Professional Development Center? And we like to look a little bit at the demographics. And what I mean by that is we have a team of 8 full-time career advisors where we interact with students throughout our shifts of work. But keep this in mind. We are serving more than 159,000 active students and more than 300,000 alumni on any given day of the week, the work week. So we like to show you those numbers so that when students may say they're finding it a little difficult to find a calendar appointment, this is why this might be the case. But more so than that, we want to be able to invite you to be as more involved with us as much as possible. We're not saying we're going to turn you into little career counselors or career coaches. But as I like to say that the university, Western Governors University, is an ecosystem that we work together. It's sort of a synergistic relationship that we support each other. We reach out and we're, very, supportive, I guess is the best way to say that, in whichever way we can. So that's just another way of saying that career and career development doesn't just happen in these virtual walls. They also extend to where I can reach out to other faculty members, mentors, support staff that might be in evaluations, or they might be in transcript, or they might be in another department of the university. They can help me help students. So looking at these numbers, it would be impossible for 8 advisors by ourselves to solely serve this great volume of students that we have. So we like to send out that invitation. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can get involved if you're feeling that pull to help and join us. We also interact with our learners a little more than 5,000 times a month through calls, emails, and those other, kind of interactions that we have that's there. So now I would like to pass this over to my colleague, Dorothy, and she will talk more about our services.
Thanks, Cliff. We're going to start a little deep dive into some of these resources now. Cliff, I just want to note there's a comment in the chat. I like the career conversation cheat sheet, and I'm not sure we had that link pulled up. So while I'm doing the website demo, if you could, if you're able to find that so we can drop that link in, that would be great. Thanks for calling that to our attention, Rebecca. So what I want to cover here is to just talk about some of the ways that we are able to provide resources and services to you and to your students. And we're part of our interests in helping you be more familiar with these resources relates to what Cliff was just showing to you in terms of just our capacity to be able to serve students. So we have some wonderful on-demand resources that are available to students and alumni for life. And so in the next section, I'm going to do an walkthrough of our website so you can learn how to navigate it, and kind of, not that you need to become experts in it, but just kind of so you're familiar with what the scope is there and some general kind of navigational familiarity with it. We also have a number of integrated platforms that we use, and we're going to take a look at those a little bit later so you become familiar with those and can refer your students to them. And we have some great real-time learning opportunities, educational workshops that we offer through our office on a lot of the bread and butter career topics like, building your resume and job searches, networking, interviewing, those kinds of things, and a number of other kinds of topics as well. And I'll take a peek at some of those so you can see what those are, what kind of things are available there. And then we have employer connection events available through Handshake. Cliff's going to show you how to find some of those in a little bit. But these are opportunities. Some of those are training events that employers offer. Like, for example, the Cleveland Clinic periodically does resume building for new nurses. But so there are training opportunities there, but there's also opportunities to do meet and greets. And this is a great way for students to get connected and in front of employers that they're interested in working for. So we have those available. And then finally, we have individual services like document reviews. You'll see we do resumes, cover letters, and LinkedIn profiles. We will do individual reviews and provide written responses to students for those things. We have some things to support them preparing for those requests, like there's a resume tutorial and resume labs, and I'll point out that tutorial when we get there. And then finally, we do have one-on-one career advising appointments available for students to deal with individuals or specific situations that they're not able to address or learn about through these resources. So that's the overview of the kinds of things that we offer. And next, we're going to dive in and start really looking at some of those. I just put the link in the chat to our homepage. I'm going to jump there now, and let's see. Make sure you can see my screen. Okay, so here is that out of the way. Landing page, homepage for career and professional development. And you'll see there's some, this is just some easy ways to navigate to some of the resources that we have. So you can scroll through that at your convenience. I do want to take a little time and kind of look at some of the navigation of the menu up here so you can find some of these resources. So if we go up to career tools and pull the drop down there, the first thing I want to call your attention to is resources by college. If you haven't found this yet, this is a great place to help your students. For each one of the colleges, you'll see we have 3 things listed here. One is career guides, job boards that have been curated specifically for your college, and professional development opportunities. And so the professional development opportunities will take you to a page where you can look at associations based on segments in IT. And of course, one of the things that we would love to know, if you look at this and you know of professional associations, it would be great for our students that aren't here. We'd love to hear about that as well. So that's a great resource. The job boards, again, are curated specifically for your college, and I'll let you explore those. But I do want to really call your attention to these career guides. I'm learning a lot of faculty don't necessarily know about this. Each one of the colleges has a page like this, and I just pulled up IT. What does a career in IT look like? So every one of the degrees in your college is, oops, they're trying to get me to enroll, is listed here with career titles that are affiliated with that degree. And obviously it's not exhaustive, but it's a pretty good list. So I'm just going to grab something here, picked digital forensic investigator. So each of those titles is a link to a separate page that gives information about what this job is, what they do, how do they become one. Often we'll list skills and lists typical salaries, projected job growth, and what kind of environment they work in. So if your students are not clear about specific directions, this is a great page to point them to do some exploring about career pathways if they're in that process. Let's see, are they going to let me back to my, nope. All right, let's try that a different way. So that again is under career tools and resources by college. I'm also going to look at a couple of other things under this career tools tab that we're going to dive into plan your career and get the job. But please note that if you've got a student who's a diversity candidate or a vet, there's some additional supports in these resource pages. So let's take a look at plan your career. As your students are starting off and they're in that exploration phase, there's some great opportunities here. Cliff is going to show you in a little bit this career coach, but I wanted you to, this is one of our pieces of integrated technology. You'll see this is how you get there. It's under plan your career, under the overview, and the drop down is the career coach. So we'll look at that a little bit more in just a bit. But there are self-assessments that students can take, and those are free. And I would recommend that students take a look at all of them. Some people like to take one, some people like to take many. And these are just self-directed opportunities for them to learn some things, learn some language and some framework about their skills and aptitudes, and some suggested directions that they may want to explore. There's also additional tools under this occupational and industry research section. These are all national data banks that have information about different careers. Again, there's similar information about salary, projected job growth, skills, and training. So these are additional resources for additional research. I do want to point out that we have a number of guides on our website, and you can find them in these separate sections. We also have an exciting new page, which is about to launch, and I'll show you that at the end of the website tour. But you'll see these guides, and throughout the website, when you see one of these guides, you do have to be signed in to your with your single sign-on. Well, not sure why that's a black background. Hope you can see that. But these guides are set up so that there is a list of structured steps for people to walk through with affiliated ideas and resources for them to use, a space for them to take notes, and set some action items and goals. So if you have a person who's a student who's floundering a little bit and they need some structure, these career guides can be really helpful. Also want to point out there's some information about graduate school, particularly want to point out this gaining experience section. Lots of need for hands-on experience. And particularly I want to point out this secure an internship drop down. there's another guide here that we'll take a quick look at, because I think this is one you may want to bookmark. We have lots of questions about internships and there's growing interest in that. This guide, again, walks step by step through it, but there are also here in step 3, apply to volunteer and internship opportunities. So there's a list of resources here where students can search for them. I want to specifically point out this Parker Dewey link. If you are not familiar with Parker Dewey, they're an organization that focuses on providing micro internship opportunities for students. And so these are short-term, I believe, Cliff, correct me if I'm wrong on this, my understanding is that these are all paid or generally paid internships. They're generally remote, and they're in the span of like 20 to 40 hours. So students can fit them in around some of their other work and school and family life obligations. So I think, there's a really good set of questions, Q&A or FAQs here to help students understand that. But this is a great way for them to get some hands-on experience without, having to commit to entire internship. So I want to make sure you know about that. Again, that's in the guide and it's at the bottom of the list of applying to volunteer and internship opportunities section. So back to the website. Oops, I guess it took me off of here. We're on the Plan Your Career again. We really recommend that students start to do informational interviews as soon as they can to learn about career opportunities. So there's good resources here about how to do them. We also have several of those career education workshops that address informational interviews. And a student can also, if they're stuck with how to proceed with that, of course, welcome to make an appointment with an advisor. So essentially, this is the menu for the Plan Your Career section of the website. I'm going to take a look now at Get the Job. The first section here are around developing career assets. So resumes, cover letters, and portfolios as those are appropriate. I particularly want to point out the resume section of the site. I mentioned the resume tutorial that's here or course. This is under step 1, and this button takes them to the course. This is a fairly quick, easy, accessible course. It's 20 to 30 minutes. It's a click through. And at the end of this course, there's some additional resources, a link for additional resume support that pops up, including registering for a resume lab and also requesting a written review. When I was talking about those document reviews, this is how they access that. We do require that they've gone through the course and fill out a self-evaluation form on their resume, so we're sure they're taking care of some of the lower hanging fruit like formatting issues, because when we get a resume to review, we really want to spend our time on their content, and that's how we like to focus our efforts. So this is the process for requesting a written review. I also want to point out some other things here that you may want to point your students to under the Applying Your Learning. These supplemental resources are great for helping them develop content. If they're writing a professional profile or summary, this gives some example and tips about how to do that. Resume action verbs are really critical. You want to start every one of those bullet points with an action verb, not worked with or responsible for, but collaborated, designed, developed, tutored, all of those kinds of things are the kind of words. So this is just a document that has lists of hundreds of words, so it can help prompt thinking. The accomplishment statement is also a critical worksheet. This is helps explain the difference between what a responsibility statement is, which is how we, like most of us, learned how to write our resumes, is here's the job, here are the responsibilities. And the issue with that is that does not demonstrate the candidate's qualifications or distinctions in any way. It just says that they did the job. Accomplishment statements add details that help a student demonstrate the value that they brought to the work. So it's numbers, percentages, dollar figures, examples of things, and always, whenever possible, results or impact. So this worksheet can help your student develop those things. So please point your students to these resources. Additionally, in step 4, there are samples and templates for a variety of, across all of our colleges. There is not one for every degree program. It is not our intention to develop one for every degree program, but there are some representatives across each of the colleges, and there's nothing that says they need to use the one from your college, they're welcome to use all of them. The thing about these is that all of these templates have been scrubbed for the formatting problems that applicant tracking systems can have when they are scanning resumes. Many of those systems don't read things like color, columns, tables, text boxes, things in the header, footer. So all of these are really safe templates and samples to use as a basis. So that was a lot about resumes, but that's really high on the mind of a lot of our students. And so I wanted to make sure you knew what these resources are and where to find them. Again, there's some additional support here in this website, in this menu for cover letters and portfolios and interview preparation. I'm going to show you a program, one of our platforms in a little bit, that is very helpful for interviewing. So we'll spend some time on that. Additionally, all of these things, I mean, we really encourage students to be investing in networking. So I'd really recommend that they take a look at this and attend one of our networking workshops if possible. And then there's a bank of our webinars here. Of course, we're updating our information all the time, so it's better if they can register for a live one. But if they can't and they're in a hurry, there's a bunch of them here that can help them get started on things. So that's all under career tools. Again, we did resources by college. We did plan your career and get the job. The last thing I'm going to point out up here is the career events I've been talking about quite a bit. And you'll see here's a drop down for those employer connection events. This is a tiny sampling of the things that are coming up. This button, view more events, will take you into Handshake and you can see more of those events. But here's the look at the career education workshops and labs that our team does. So I'm just going to scroll through here. You'll see the kinds of topics that we cover. Want to point out that if a student cannot attend when these events are happening live, we always record them and send links to the recording to everybody who's registered. So encourage them to register, even if it doesn't fit with their schedule. But these are really great learning opportunities for our students to get some of the most up-to-date information. So that's what we've got for the website. There's one last thing that I want to point out. I mentioned before, we have a new page. Oops, we have a new page. Where did it go? Oops, I bet I closed it. I bet it overwrote it. Cliff, do you happen to have the quick start? Let me see, maybe I bookmarked that. Hang on just a second. This is different. Yeah, you know what I need? I need my, hold on just a second.
I can look for
I
that.
think I got it right here. I think when I
Okay.
closed that, here we go. I got it. This is just launching, and it is about probably 80% complete. We just had a conversation this morning, may redesign the look of it, but this is a kind of a quick start, get started. Cliff, can you pop that in the chat, please? This is a page that we are trying to centralize links to all of those guides that I kept talking about. So again, if you have a person who's like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, this page will take them to some of those structured guides really easily to walk through those things. So just wanted to point that piece out. So that's where we are with the website, and we are ready. Unless Cliff, have you been watching the chat? If there's any questions, I want to just see if there's anything that's burning out there. Otherwise, we're ready to move into a quick demo of some of the platforms that we've got available.
Okay. Yes, I've attended to the chats. I didn't get a chance to get the link to the quick start, so maybe you can do that while I do that.
I'll do that. Yep, for sure.
Excellent. All right. Well, here we go. All right. So Dorothy's talked a lot about our resources and some of the integrated technologies that we've had, and we have so much more to share and so much more to be able to address. One of the featured ones that we have that's somewhat new on our list is called Career Coach. And I could talk to you a little bit about what Career Coach is. Be glad to work out some of the information as it pertains to our population specifically. But let's watch a video and get a little bit more perspective from the creators of this great resource.
Welcome to Career Coach, where it's easy to discover careers that excite you and find the academic program that will help you achieve a successful career. Unsure of what career you'd like to pursue? Take a quick assessment that will give you personal career matches based on your goals. You can explore careers, find one that you'd like to pursue, and follow an education path that will prepare you for that career. Once you find a career you like, you can learn all about it with data on available jobs, top employers, expected earnings, daily tasks, relevant skills, and more. You can see programs that would prepare you for that career and apply right away. Simply create an account to save your results by clicking the sign up button in the top right corner. From your profile, you can build a simple resume that you can download and edit at any time. There's a whole world of career choices out there, and Career Coach is here to help you discover programs that will lead you to a career that you will love. Welcome to Career.
All right.
That will help you
Well,
achieve a success.
stop. All right. Well, isn't that great? What a wonderful program and resource we have for our students. Now, Career Coach has been used for career changers if they're trying to decide and figure out which step to take when they're going into a new program. Career Coach can help them identify some of those career paths, required skills. They can use sort of geolocating to find that in their area if they need to. One of the other great things about Career Coach is that once they are looking, if they're working, let's say with enrollment, and they're trying to figure out which program to go into, Career Coach will also relink them, if you will, or bring them back to the WGU degree programs for them to be able to look and explore deeper into our specific programs. I have heard from other faculty that they have used Career Coach when it comes to retention. So when students are trying to decide if they should go forward or not, Career Coach kind of builds their confidence back again. And it's been used in many, many ways to help them do that. The other resource we have, obviously, on the screen is Handshake. Handshake is really our kind of the engine, if you will, to our operation to some extent. Everything that you see here is involved in Handshake. When students want to do a job search, they want to explore employers, internships, they can do that by searching through Handshake, finding out more about the company, who are the recruiters that they can contact. They can even sometimes apply directly from Handshake, if it's allowed by the company, directly to their own portal to apply to those jobs or internships. We have events that are posted both by employers and by our own staff. So when employers or companies are doing live events, they're recorded too, so they'll get a copy of that. They can view that and register directly through Handshake. They just have to log in with their single sign-on and they're good to go. Other career resources, even a peer-to-peer interaction, sort of like LinkedIn, where they can connect actually to other schools who are using Handshake. If they want to connect to other industries through their career centers, they can do that as well. So it really is a growing dynamic platform that they can use. And they can put it on their mobile phone. It's right there in their hands. They have a career coach. They have a career access through Handshake right in their pocket, ready to go when they need it. Now, we also invite you to request a demo account where you can test drive Handshake yourself, not to look for another job. You might, I don't know. But the point is that Handshake and giving that access so that you can do a test drive gives you even greater knowledge, so that when students need that conversation around job searching, around events, you've got that already as part of your own toolbox to help them see that. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to pull my screen over here because we
Uh,
had,
Sorry,
yes.
Cliff, while you're doing that, I just popped the chat in the chat that, again, the link to the homepage for career and professional development. If you scroll down that page, it shows you how to, there's a link for you to request that demo account.
Good, good. Thanks. Yeah, it's just a really great opportunity to get your hands on that and to see how it works yourself. So thank you very much, Dorothy, for that. So what I wanted to show you actually was shared to us by another faculty member, and she has created her account and she created a career jobs alert, an internship alert, so that when she gets internship alerts from companies set up through Handshake, she puts them in a newsletter and then she forwards it to her students. So she helps to curate some of these internship opportunities. Then from that newsletter, they can link back to their own Handshake account and find those internships that are available. So let me show you how that looks. So here's my profile. If I go up to jobs, I click on jobs, and that populates. And I might see, you know, automatically what's been published here. But when I go up to search, I can put in, let's put in software engineer. And I click on that. And it gives me the different software engineering internships, different jobs, things like that. If I want to specifically look for internships, I'm going to click this internship button. Then it will repopulate with only internships. So if I like these, I'm going to say, you know what? I want to save this search because I want to receive all of the jobs that are going to be new jobs and things that are posted. So I'm going to go here and say, and click on save your search. Then down here, create job alert. It's already been created. But how do I get this to my students? Do I want to create a newsletter? Maybe. Let's say I do that. So edit notifications. Then right here, I could choose how I want to receive the notifications to my email, the in-app of Handshake, or push it to my phone on a daily basis or a weekly basis. Let's just say I want the email. And then I save it. And then it's updated my search alert. When I get those alerts, I can pick and choose whichever ones I believe are most relevant to my students. I can put them in an email or a mass email, or if I've set up a newsletter for my students, I can push that out to them, and it keeps them alert and up to date with what's happening in Handshake. And then they can click on that hyperlink in the newsletter, and it brings them back to Handshake for that. I also wanted to share with you, when they click on events, it will populate with all of the different events, both employer driven and our own in-house events and workshops that we create, like the Resume Lab, for example. If I click on Resume Lab, it will take me to where I can register for that. It'll give me a little bit about it. It'll say who is presenting on that topic. No, how many students are already registered? 198 students are already registered for this event that's going to be on Saturday, June 10th. More similar events are shown here. I can go back to events and I can search. This is a little different than the job search mechanism. So sometimes it can get a little wonky, but it's a way for students to say, well, I need something about interviewing. So if I put interviewing in, will it give me information? It sure will. All of that right there at their fingertips. Live in-house workshops that are going to be given. Mock interviews by Comerica that's scheduled. LinkedIn information, again, Resume Labs, which can be relevant to the interviews as well. So a wonderful way of using Handshake, and this is not even a drop in the bucket. If there's one thing I would say for students and also for you when it concerns Handshake is this right here, and that's to make sure that students get their profile 100% complete. This is what's going to help them to be visible, relevant, shown to employers. They can work with all kinds of settings, almost similar to LinkedIn. They'll see their interests. They'll see what their skills are. They'll discover more students who might be, very relevant or close to my own profile skill sets. See how in depth this is? Look at all this stuff. I could put my resume in here. I could put other cover letter in here that I used. So we want students to work with this and really be able to optimize the use of their Handshake page. Now this will go away, and we'll come back to here. So again, these are some of the more popular integrated platforms that we have, and there's more. And now I'm going to send this over to Dorothy so that she can share with you even more of these great, wonderful resources that we have.
Great, thanks. So this is, I want to pop some links in the chat for you for a few programs that I'm going to just take a quick peek at. I did see that there are some comments in the chat. You're having trouble with links. I will include all of these links in the follow-up email that we send out with a link to the recording. So if you're not able to capture them in the chat, then rest assured we'll get them to you via email. This is a program called Big Interview, which is available for students and alumni to access. This is a terrific interview prep platform. This is there's a dashboard that will keep track of where people are. So if students have worked on certain interviews, or if they're using some of the curriculum, this is the dashboard that just kind of keeps track of where they are. But particularly, I want to take a look at, wow, I'm in a different web browser because my computer has a little trouble with this program. So I want to take a look particularly at a couple things. One is this little question mark here has a getting started set of videos. So this is a great way to learn a little bit, get an overview of this program, get oriented to it. The particular area that I want to call your attention to is these practice interviews. And you'll see that there's a number of different sets here: college admissions, federal government kinds of jobs, veterans, competencies, and skill sets. But the two I really want to focus on are the general and the industry. So general has it's a great overview, top 10 questions that are generally asked in most places. Then there's entry, mid, and senior level kinds of roles, managerial roles, internships, career changers. This is a great one for that. And if people want to practice being on the hot seat, there's even a module for uncomfortable questions. So this is a great place for students to work through, but also, whoops, wrong place. Trying to get a hold of my microphone. I'm not going to give it to it because I'm attached to WebEx. The industry set are very helpful. So you see, here's an overview of all these different industries that students can access. And I'm just going to grab, let's see, technology here. So within each one of those, there are modules, lots of modules. So if I pull one from here, let's do data scientist. Each one of those has several sets usually. So this is what this looks like. If I choose one of these, I'm going to practice with David. This is what the setup looks like. There's a set of questions here on the left. There's the interviewer. And then if I gave access to it won't, because I'm attached to WebEx right now, to my camera and my mic, it will record my answers. One of the things that I want to point out here is that there is this tips button in most of the questions. It gives background about the question. It gives sometimes what kinds of things you need to include in your answer. Sometimes it gives examples. So if students are wondering What questions are they going to ask me? This is a great thing to do. The thing about this program is it's very similar to recorded video interviews experiences. So they can record it. And then again, because I'm in a different browser than usual, since my browser isn't working, there is a video section on the menu usually. Apologize, I'm not able to pull that up, but it's a place where it tracks all the recorded videos so students can go back and review them. So that's a really quick look at Big Interview. It's a terrific program. Please help your students get to this. It's through Handshake, but we did put the link in the chat. The next thing I want to talk about really quickly is another way for students to gain experience. This is not a WGU program, but it's a partner that we're affiliated with. And Forge is a company that their mission is to provide learning opportunities for people to understand what work is really like today. And they have partnered with companies across the country to provide virtual simulations around different kinds of work. These are based on actual projects that employees in these companies did. And so they're real work experiences. So I'm just going to grab, I did tech before, but I happen to know that there's a lot of them in here. So I want to just pull this up. You'll see the variety of things that are available in here. These are very short experiences. I've seen some as short as 2. I've never seen any more than 8. That's to represent the amount of time that these projects would take if the student was an employee in this company. They're not restricted to that amount of time. But the point of this is if they sign up for one of these, they'll get the materials that they need to do this hands-on experience. They submit their results. And at that point, Forge releases the actual work product that the employee of the company did so that it is, so that they can compare their work. The student can redo their work if they'd like to and resubmit it. When they complete it, finally, Forge will give them a certificate of completion with language that they can use to include on their resume and their LinkedIn profile. So it's a great way for them to gain some experience. Forge's statistics also are that students that complete one of these modules with a company, so let's say, for example, I completed the data analytics and visualization with Accenture, I am 4 times more likely to land a job at Accenture than a general candidate. So having this experience on their resume is a great thing if they're targeting a particular company. So we just wanted to give you a quick peek about that. And then the next thing that I want to show you very quickly, which again is not a WGU platform, it's on LinkedIn, but this is the WGU main page on LinkedIn, and this is the LinkedIn Alumni Tool, which is a really incredibly useful tool. So just a quick snapshot, if you go to the Western Governors University main page on LinkedIn and click this Alumni tab, this is the LinkedIn Alumni Tool. This is the number of people that are affiliated with this page on LinkedIn, so it's a great way to do research. The way to use this tool, there's 3 pieces. There's this search field. There are these filters, where they work, where they live, and this right-click button takes you to some more filters. And then there's profiles of the people that are in the results of the search. So right now we'd be scrolling for a long time because this is all 235,000 people. But the point of this tool is to use the search field and the filters to try to identify a group of people that align with the student's goals and interests. They can use this, for example, to search for people who have graduated with my degree. What kind of roles are they in? So they can get ideas about position titles. Or they can target a particular company. They can look for WGU alumni in a particular company. They can search for areas that they're interested in. So I'll just, let's say somebody really wants to work for AWS, they can immediately click on this and there's 643. They may want to narrow it down, continue to narrow it down. The key to using this tool is really playing with the search field and the filters until you feel pretty comfortable that this is a group of people that you want to work for. But let's say I'm going to grab Wells Fargo just for fun. There's a group of people here. These people that are shown here in this profile are the results of that search, so they can start to look at the profiles, look at how people have positioned themselves on LinkedIn, what language are they using, and then they can start to connect with them, sending connection requests. Hey, I'm at WGU in the same degree program. I'm really interested in your area. It'd be great to connect. And they can also use these as sources for those informational interviews that I was talking about before. We do have a LinkedIn alumni tool and networking workshop that we go over this in quite a bit more depth. And so I'd encourage you to attend it yourself if you'd like to, but also point your students to that. So those are some of the programs that we use all the time to help support our students. And we just wanted to give you a peek at those so that you can get familiar with them yourselves. All right, we have just a quick wrap up. The last thing that we wanted to talk a little bit about is the support. And as I mentioned before, we do these document reviews and then the career coaching appointments. Just as a reminder, Cliff started off showing how many students and alumni we're serving. So we really need and value your partnership in helping direct students to these resources so that when students are really stuck and they're having trouble and they need a coaching appointment, we're available to help them. Many answers can be found through these resources that we're providing. I see in the questions or copy of the PowerPoint, would be happy to send a copy of that with the recording link and the links to the resources. So we're about ready to wrap up here, right, Cliff? Nope, you're on mute, Cliff. So I'm not sure if he's having technical difficulty. I'll jump in. We do have an opportunity to offer to you. We have recently, in the last 6 months or so, developed a community of care program for faculty to become career champions. For those of you that are interested in learning more about career partnering with us, right now we're meeting once a month on a Tuesday morning. I can't remember off the top of my head when that is, but we just get together on Teams for a chat about what are you experiencing with your students? What are some best practices? That's where we learn from one of our mentors that they are cultivating this internship list off of Handshake. So we're learning things from you, sharing additional things. And if you would like to become a career champion, there's no obligation. It's just an opportunity to attend that meeting. You can email us at careers@wgu.edu and just put career champions in the subject line and we'll get you set up to join us. Cliff, are you back on?
I'm back.
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I know we've had questions throughout the chat. If you have any more specific ones that you would like to have addressed, please let us know. You can do it now and we can do a rolling answer. If it's something more in depth, you can always contact us in Teams. We're pretty responsive and I'd be glad to meet with you individually as well to talk more about any specifics as they pertain to your students. Now, how do you contact us? So contacting us is easy enough. Obviously, we want to have you have the links to our website so you can share that with your students and you can do a run through yourself with our website. Emailing us simply at careers@wgu.edu. We'll send any questions or updates or have students contact us when they need something really quick, like I need a real quick answer about my resume, or I've got an interview coming up and I don't know how to answer this one question. Have them call us. They can call, they'll get a voicemail, and they'll get a response either that same business day or the next business day. So those are 3 great ways of connecting to us, making contact, and we'd be glad very much to continue this conversation on and help you out.
I just want to reiterate, and we will be sending out a follow-up email to everybody who registered for this event. It may take overnight, depends on how long it takes for the recording to get processed, but it'll have a link to the recording, a link to the things that we talked about, all the resources that we put in the chat, and additionally, I'll include a copy of the PowerPoint so you have that as well. Question, how do I sign up for the newsletter? Jenny, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Is there a College of IT specific newsletter? There's an alumni newsletter. Cliff, do you know anything more about that?
Yeah, I don't know Jenny, if maybe when we were talking about the newsletter sample that a faculty member had done for her own students, that was something as an example that she did. But there aren't any other more specific newsletters that we discussed. Could that have been
Okay.
the issue?
All
Yeah.
right, maybe
Okay.
so. Yeah. Anything else we can help you with today? All right, we are at the top of the hour. Thanks so much for joining us. We love being in partnership with you. Don't hesitate to let us know how we can help you support your students.
Great. Thank you all for joining. Y'all have a great rest of your day. And thank you again for your participation and the privilege of your time.
Thank you.